first pick coming out. Do you think that this will be something that will be run back? Because this was a flex pick, but now Collapse has proven he's very capable of playing it on the offlane.
I sure hope so. And I feel like these tournaments, they have a tendency of like, once you see a hero work in a certain position, other people will copy it, and it gives everybody else confidence. Oh, I see this Undying, we can probably run it offlane. If Collapse can do it, I can also do it, is what all the other offlaners are saying. So I will expect more Undying picks, but also more Undyings that will turn to be offlane.
But in this series, I don't think 33 wants to play Undying. It's not a type of hero.
He's not an Undying player. I think he'll stick to his guns and hope for like a better early game than this game.
No lone druids.
No.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe that's where is that indeed, Rhea, where you would take this? You would just say, well, ban the lone druid, go again.
Yeah, I think the lone druid was more of the problem, or maybe just being more aware of like Tusk's ability to run you over. Because if you don't give it to him, it's not like he scales like that well into the late game. And I think they just kind of gave away too much. Like even then, it was more on the mid games, and like you still have this. You can't just be reactive about like Undying. You can't just ban that because then you're giving something else away. It's hard, man. Drafting's hard.
Drafting is very difficult, which is why oftentimes the coach comes into play. You know, he has a helicopter view and he'll know exactly where to take things as the players are once again ready to take the stage for the second game of this best-of-3 series. Luckily for us and for everyone watching, neither of these teams will get eliminated, as this is still the upper bracket. The first matchup these two teams are playing on the main stage, and the first series that Not Me is playing on any TI stage to begin with. And I think that he crushed it. I want to take a second to applaud his... I want to take a second to applaud Not Me's Wind Ranger, where the barracks were super low already. You know, the bear had already died, so he couldn't finish it. We know it's Not Me's first time in the booths, in the international booths. And we talked about it. We don't think the pressure would get to him. We think he'll be fine with it. But I think we saw it in action there, Winter, being able to just go for that play, go for that barracks. You know, he gave his life for it, gets the mega creeps. That's when you know that nerves are not an issue.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would do in a pub. You know, you see the wreck and you just go die for it. And that's great, you know, seeing that from him. You know, he's playing like he's in a pub, he's relaxed. And that's great for a young player. And I do want to go back to what Alex mentioned about like the support duo. I do feel like the Tusk could be something that's really important. I do think that it's good on both sides, where it allows them to play their game either on Ahri or on Rule on his Tusk. And I think this hero is going to be a very key hero. It's not a very imbalanced or like OP hero, but I think in this particular series, comparing how both the teams are playing, it could be a very critical hero.
It could for sure, as we are seeing if BZM can have maybe also more impact. He had a good Invoker, don't get me wrong. But if we compare the Invoker and Undying, those were the first two picks for both teams respectively. Overall, first pick Invoker does not leave Rhea any room for flexibility. And that might be a handicap in this one.
Potentially, but also it is sacrificial in a nice way. You're like saying, you're stating this is the hero I'm going to play, I can do stuff with it, right? And you give more to your teammates. So really, we should be blaming everyone else. Because they got the later picks.
Yeah.
And they didn't win with it. So,
no, I feel like he cooked. Like, BZM Invoker is something else. I think he is the only reason why they were able to stay in this game for so long. Honestly, this Ghost Walk in dealing damage is a little bit busted. He's just pushing every single wave. In the fight that we saw when he threw the triple meatball, that is also not okay. How does it deal so much damage? When you get your Chasm Stone or Shiva, your AoE on all your spells becomes bigger. However, it doesn't actually become bigger in reality. So you don't see how big the meteor is. You're just getting meteored and cooked from inside, and you don't even know where it's coming from.
We'll have to see if he gets his hands on that again then, as we are very soon ready to get game number 2 underway. I think game 1, both teams, they're not going to be too sad about how things went. Team Spirit took it in the end, but Iron Wing fought valiantly, and they almost made it happen. Let's see what happens in the next one.
Iron Wing versus Team Spirit. Game 2.
drafting time, and we get to see what changes the teams have talked about in the break and what changes the coaches feel like is necessary going into this next game. As we are having Iron Wing on the Radiant side, Team Spirit on the Dire side, so that swapped around. We also swapped our pick order, meaning it is Iron Wing with first pick and Team Spirit with overall last pick. Heroes to look out for on the bans are the Lone Druid from the previous game and still the Earth Spirit as well, as we will keep talking about that as long as it's not banned, because that is still a menace. Other than that, though, curious if that Undying gets addressed, but it's Iron Wing's first pick, so they get to dictate how it will go down. Ember Spirit, or sorry, Earth Spirit still banned out. Ember Spirit actually still in, even though we did see it banned out in the first phase of the previous game.
We might see Spirit choose to ban the Undying here if they feel like Iron Wing will cause a problem with it. But I honestly wouldn't be against an Invoker first pick again. I mean, they can take Centaur because they've really favored that throughout the tournament, but the Invoker was really good. It actually did 86,000 damage last game. It did the most in the game.
All right, all right.
And they already removed Slada, so it probably means that the idea is there, you know, for Iron Wing. They want to open with the Invoker.
Okay, well, I guess that's what Spirit were tossing up. Sorry, BZM.
It's a good ban. I like it. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to give BZM his Invoker. You kind of want to force them to play something else.
Oh, look at our boy in the crowd.
Mira has been spotted. All right, Iron Wing with the overall first pick. So, do they want to steal that Undying? Does Team Spirit even... You know what? You're coming into this best of 3. Okay, they do want to steal the Undying. Because I was curious, like, do you even want to do the same plan 2 times in a row, or want to just completely change it to keep the enemy team on their toes?
I think you can just run it back, to be fair, especially when the hero is flexible. So they could easily just play it 5. But yeah, Iron Wing decide to take it. Whitemon does have a super strong Undying. I don't think they will play it offlane. But I don't think you need to.
So in the group stages, I think I remember seeing Spirit utilize Death Prophet against Undying lane. So do you think that that's practically the only reason why you would pick, like, you want a range offlaner against Undying, if you know Undying's on your lane?
You want at least one range hero. Either it's the 4 that's just gonna keep hitting the Undying and keep you away from the offlaner, or you can just have the offlaner be the range hero, such as Death Prophet, who can heal herself with her Spirit Siphon. And we got the Lina, very nice pick against Undying. It's very high range. You can kill the Tombstone. I am hoping it's gonna be carry, but they could play it mid as well. But I think that carry Lina is a little bit better answer to Undying, as you don't really rely on bursting someone. You're just kind of dishing out tons and tons of damage.
I think another important thing to note, like last game, we saw Team Spirit able to pick up every single Roshan, like kind of as soon as it was available for them. And you can do that with Undying, because you can place the Tombstone like on the Roshan and it will hit the tomb, and then it's just kind of free. But when you do that multiple times, you get Roshan's banner. And I feel like last game we saw that it was really difficult for Iron Wings to be able to actually destroy that banner. Lina is a hero that now, if Iron Wings would implement that, take Roshan's early and have that banner up, like Lina can help deal with that too.
It's true. Yeah, you can. Lina is good hero, like both with and against banner as well.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if Centaur gets banned out. It is a very nice hero both against and with Lina. Against, because you don't really want to hit him because of his retaliate, and with, as he is able to like save her with his axe, and also...
So you're saying they should just pick it right now, right away, as soon as they exit this ban phase for Team Spirit?
It is not as easy to play it against Undying, so I feel like Spirit might be a little bit more wary, and they might just pick like double sub here to address the Undying. But I think for Iron Wing, they could easily just pick it after this ban and get their offlaner going. They already have a support.
Yeah. So probably it's better for them to just ban it. I don't know, not to worry about it, since it counters Lina so much.
Yeah.
They're taking some time to think about what they should be banning at this point. The center surely will be part of the conversation.
This ban is super critical for the second pick side, when you ban and you pick the next hero here. So usually you see teams take a lot of time at this phase. But they opted to go for the Kotal, so they're worried about this Kotal Undying lane.
Yeah, it's a strong hero. You can stack camps with it. As we saw from the first game, even though they were behind, they had a massive stack in their triangle that they farmed later on with the Doom and the Invoker. So you kind of avoid having to deal with that if you're not against Coddle. And yeah, it's just a strong hero. Nice pairing for BZM if he's gonna play some Spirit.
Clockwork coming out. Looks like that will be our safe lane. That is a common
Yeah,
pairing.
this is probably going to really discourage the Undying offlane. You don't want to be playing Undying offlane against Clock.
You do not. The mana burn is too annoying. Yeah, I think Spirit just decided to have a very solid safe lane to start off the draft. You want like something that protects the Lina. It doesn't necessarily address Centaur too much on Clockwork. They can easily pick that on Iron Wing, but perhaps they want to get a little bit more exotic with it. We'll see.
And another Hoodwink coming our way for Ari.
Yeah, I think he played very solid last game. There's no need to change it up too much. He had very solid performance on Hoodwink. You can't really go wrong with this hero, and it pairs really nicely with Undying. You have like a teamfight guy, and then you have a pick-off guy that's just gonna, set up kills, and you have a stun.
That's an Ember Spirit coming out. I have a question. We have not got Lone Druid banned, and I know there is flex potential on the Lina. Is this anything we should be worried about for either team, to be honest?
So I'm not sure about how the matchup goes, Lina against Ember. I imagine it's okay for Ember, because you survive all the Lina spells with your Flame Guard. So that would mean that Spirit does not want to put Lina mid. They would need to put it carry, so they can't pick the Lone Druid. However, Pure can still easily do it. I'm not sure if he wants to play it against Lina, but it's not bad. Once you get to the Silver Edge and you manage to bring the bear on top of the Lina, she is in big trouble.
I imagine they have to like put the Lina on carry and just counter this Ember right now here.
Yeah.
Probably feels more suitable. I don't think there's any flex heroes remaining on the mid and the off lane. I guess if they wanted Pango, but Pango's not really that great against Ember.
Yeah, against Ember you have to decide to go one or two ways. One is you counterpick the Ember and you try to just demolish him in lane, and that kind of enables you to play the game. Or the other, since Ember is such a strong mid laner and teams usually play through him, you want a hero that doesn't do the same thing, because you will lose it. Like, okay, we got the Underlord. That's a nice counterpick to Ember. You have like your root.
Another hero that really counters Ember from the support is Willow. I feel like Willow is one of the crazy strong heroes against Ember, because you catch him in the root and the Terrorize, you can always kill him in the early game. It kind of works with Underlord and Clock too. They can set up for your Bramble.
It's a nice pairing with Clockwork for sure.
I do think they have a very nice, robust lineup on Spirit right now as well. With Iron Wings picks, I just see them now having a lot of kill threat on the map. I was honestly wondering if they might like to take the Dragon Knight, because we've seen it come up more and more prevalence in the group stage, and I really like it because A, it's like you have so many heroes like Spirits in the mid lane that it just provides you that extra bit of catch, but also it gives you a really nice way to just take the tower if they do want to rotate with runes, so you're not like as...
And on top of that, when you have Underlord off lane, you like your mid laner that has a stun, so that you can actually ulti. And if you have a mid laner which doesn't really initiate, it doesn't feel very good playing Underlord in a game like this. And I think Underlord is the type of off lane, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, whenever I see this hero, I feel like you need a mid laner that pairs well with him. You can't just pick the Underlord for just wanting the Underlord and just pick another mid hero that doesn't really work with him.
Yeah, you're totally right. I think for both of the global offlaners, which is Underlord and Dawnbreaker, that want to connect globally with their ults, you want a mid laner that's a playmaker, that's gonna like set up things on the map for you, and then you're just like farming, pushing out lanes, and then eventually you connect with the gate. And we got the Lifestealer counter pick. Very nice against
Tough
Underlord.
Very tough lane.
Yeah. It could go both ways, to be fair, because you do have like 15-20 more damage on the Underlord than on the Lifestealer. So if you're really good at last hitting and you manage to outlast it pure, then it can go...
Is this the lane where you should get Aura early as Underlord?
I don't think so. I think you still keep the Firestorm. It's a very strong spell, and he's not gonna wanna rage every single Firestorm, so you can just secure your range or a range deny, or like enemy range, With the Firestorm, he kind of needs to calm down with the lifestealer. It just gets bad a little bit later on. Like, once he gets phase boots, level 5, then I think Underworld will just go jungle, which is fine. I think this is fine matchup for both teams. Team Spirit at least have a hook shot, so that's one BKB piercing stun that they have against the lifestealer. I don't think they're too sad or like too distraught about the lifestealer pick.
It seems like Ironwing is keeping their options open, or rather Spirit's options open. They ban out the Morphling, so they remove another carry from the pool.
The lifestealer counter.
Yeah.
And also against Undying, you steal the Tombstone. It's not fun. So that's a very good ban actually.
Yeah, what else is good against lifestealer and Undying? Kind of feel like they need a mid hero for sure, right? I don't think they want to have the Lina as mid.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play some Viper on Laurel. That's like a hero that absolutely smashes Ember Spirit. However, it's not really a playmaker. We'll see which way they decide to go. If they want to just dump.
So you're saying the choice they have here is whether they want to counter the lane or they want a hero that rounds up their whole lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they could have a hero that does both, which kind of probably doesn't feel like there is one right now.
Oh, actually,
Maybe Tiny could be at that. It makes plays, it's okay in the lane.
I do have the hero. It is Slark mid. We've been seeing it a little bit.
I saw that. I didn't like it.
You don't like
I'm gonna be a contrarian. When I watched that play out, Ember went basically even in net worth against the Slark.
It was just noob Slark.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, right.
Another carry banned by Ironwing. As well, they keep the flex potential open on the Lina. It does seem like on the other side we need an offlaner for Ironwing. Any thoughts on what that offlaner needs to be able to do? The Doom that 33 played in the previous game is still in the pool.
Do they want a Helm hero here to run the Lina down? Like something that can, like some Lycan type hero?
You could do Lycan, yeah. It's good against Clockwork. However, I think they need something that's a bit more active, as the lifestealer will just kind of be farming. The Centaur is still in the pool. It is not the best against Underworld, however, as he has percentage damage for you, and he also roots you, so you don't really, it's harder to stampede out.
Every time we reach this, I always think of 8 different heroes and they end up picking Doom.
Yeah, he does like Doom.
Every time!
Every time.
I'm like, look at all these fun offlaners that exist, and they always pick Doom!
But it's comfort. We did see him having a, like, he was heavily focused in that previous game, right? They knew where he was going to move. They tried to slow down his farm as much as they could.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great game last game, and he's probably going to have a great game again. I do wonder how they're going to itemize, because last game we saw 33 buying Midas and going, like, Devour, and I've seen lifestealers, you know, go between, sometimes buying Midases themselves, and sometimes not, just going straight for the Radiance, so I don't want them to get too greedy, because Spirit could punish that.
And the Shadow Fiend as the final pick for Team Spirit. And that means we are going to have the mid Lina on our hands, and Yatoro will play Shadow Fiend. Is that, because both teams are kind of considered turret heroes, as we call them. They just stand, they hold their ground, they just hit. Is that a little bit too much of the same thing, Saber?
I don't mind this pick. I think Lina plays in a way where you're just gonna get your axe and you're gonna be flying around the map looking for pickoffs, and it is very nice, like both against Lifestealer and Ember, because you can just pick them off if you have enough damage and if you have your Dark Willow with you. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm a little bit worried about this Lina lane. I think he can get ganked by Hoodwink and Undying very easily, and then it's gonna be very rough. However, if Laro survives the laning phase, I think it's a very nice Lina game.
Do you feel like they have like too greedy of a setup, since they don't really have a way to, I guess, utilize the Underlord ulti in the early stages? It wouldn't be so easy, not impossible.
Yeah, it is. You don't necessarily have to do it. I think this Underlord will be utilized much more defensively, holding towers, getting some auras or lotus, and making sure that these other two cores have a good game going.
Thoughts, Rhea, on what you think will happen on this one?
It could be a little bit too greedy.
Yeah.
But maybe Underlord could get Ags Rush going, and then you just control Ember with the pit and make it so we can't sit on your backline turrets, and that would be nice.
That would be nice. Are we going to a game 3, Winter?
No.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, no. I don't think so.
Wow.
You think it's too strong?
I mean, there's a chance, but I feel like Spirit's early game, like, even though I feel like they're a bit greedy, but they should be able to secure the runes. It's going to come down to the runes, and they have the best support at the runes, Clockwork.
But I've been told that Lina versus Ember is not necessarily swaying in the way of Lina.
That is what I've said.
Yes,
And
it's
I
what you
stand by it. I think it's gonna be fine for Iron Wing, that is. Like, I think they have much better mid lane setup. So it just depends how hard they cook. If they manage to push it to the limit and kill Laro.
Okay, that seems like a lot of pressure on that mid lane. I will also remind you guys that those first 10 minutes of the previous game didn't really mean as much as later we got, but we're going to pay attention to how Ember versus Lina is going to play itself out. But before we see that, we are going to check if it's Slacks. He is found Maposhka.
Thank you so much, Shiver. Yes, we are here with Maposhka. So good to see you here on the TI Grand stage again. How are you feeling being back here once more?
I feel great. No, I really like the crown, and I feel like I'm kind of excited, even when I'm not playing. So I really enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, I did want to ask you a little bit about Not Me. Now, Team Spirit obviously does amazing in front of a crowd. You guys get a lot of energy. That was his first game. It was pretty good seeing the Wind Raiders steal that last Rax. How's he doing in there? Is his mental good? Is he like the rest of the team or a little nervous? How's the man feeling?
No, I would say that he still improved with every game, and he not stable as like a new player on tier 1 scene. But I guess like, he improve very fast, and everyone helps him with that. So we believe in him, and we're just trying to let him do what he wants to do. Always, maybe sometimes even too much.
Great. Well, definitely seems to be working. All right, I'm gonna ask you one quick question. Any chance for a game 3?
I think yes.
Yes, there might be a game 3. All right, let's find out as we throw to our casters for this incredible game 2.
Thank you so much, Slack. Apparently, there might be a game 3. We'll have to see what indeed does happen as we're out to that one.
Was I supposed to say that?
Like, did we win? What happened there?
Gak dapet,
But yeah, did manage to find that victory. And love to hear also about Not Me and how he's sort of dealing with there, saying, maybe not as stable, but trying to make sure that he feels as comfortable as possible doing what he needs to do. And it's good to go into something like this with maybe a little bit of adrenaline.
Yeah. I mean, he was fired up. As he said, he feels a little nervous, a little excited being here with the crowd because they are cheering for them like crazy. Brew attempted to get them going even more with the Chinese Dota baby line, so he's really trying to sway the whole crowd here. That's his plan right now.
You know the other thing, and this was something that's always stood out to me about Dota, right? If you look at other forms of, ball sports or whatever that are out there in the world, you start playing at a young age, and you got your parents on the sideline.
Right, yeah.
And then you're like in middle school, maybe there's some people doing a TP away. First blood, White Man draws it. And then as you just keep going up the levels, you get more and more used to a crowd. But for many of these players, it's the very first time that they're playing in some of the biggest tournaments of the world, and suddenly they're surrounded by people. It's a lot to deal with in a way that many other people haven't.
Yeah, usually the only large crowd they're used to is their avoided list. That's the biggest group of people they've ever seen in their lives.
Fair enough. Well, we'll see how they're able to do in this one. Ari getting chased down, brought down by Roos, so 1 kill apiece as they reopen up that camp. 33 will manage to get the pull over in front of his tower, though, most likely. As Collapse is getting chased down by Whitemon, drops a pit to drag the creeps back for a moment, and then is going to TP it back to base.
Yeah, let's go all the way home because of his resource situation right now. And this is just the life versus undying.
Yeah.
Right? But, you work with Not Me as well. They're going to keep dragging waves, trying to reduce the speed that they're moving at here. So hopefully Collapse will get back there in time to get some of this XP and gold.
Annoying as he did manage to connect those waves before he pulled it around the side. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit tough. I think Pure is going to be off to a hot start in that bottom lane is what it looking like so far at least.
Yeah, a couple denies there already. Well, at least it's going better for Iron Wing than the last game because Yadro doesn't have a killing spree at this point in the game.
Nobody smoked. They did not smoke out to try and take a fight. That is for sure.
Yeah, a little reset option here.
As Rue, they decide to turn now onto Yadro, but the Cogs push back, buying some time. Goes for a second salvo with Nami right there. Oh, he missed on that raise though. Needs to get a little bit of separation from 33. Turns, hits,
Masih bisa dapat
gets
itu
the
rollnya.
kill. Now they're still on to Whitemon here, and wow, the hoodwink comes in and manages to finish that one off.
Yadro saw it coming, but couldn't get the distance in time by juking up to the north there. And such early rotations into the enemy safe lane there. Like Whitemon comes through the twin gate, TP immediately from Not Me, sorry. So they know that this is coming. At least they're very prepared to have these TPs up and ready to try and engage. So losing their SF, unfortunate there for Team Spirit. Collapse finds a few more last hits here, but obviously still struggling more than any of their core in the game right now.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good time. I mean, Lifestealer is already annoying, and obviously Undying. This is what you do to heroes almost every time. Does manage to pull this wave all the way back to his tower, though, and that's going to force Whitemon away. And in the mid lane, see how that one goes, is there's a big pull, 33, not wanting to lane like normal.
This is such an interesting mid matchup because you heard Saberlight talking about on the panel this idea of like, does Lina really win that hard? And I would say that out of all the mids in this tournament, Laryl and BZM tend to be the ones that don't really push their advantage that hard in the lane. It's not often I watch a lane and be like, oh, they're dominating the lane. I feel like they're both kind of eke it out mid laners, get to some farm, and then make plays with their team. Right. So I want to see if Laryl can actually take advantage of this matchup. Can he find the edge that may or may not be there?
Jadi makanan ya.
Well, Collapse goes down, but yeah, that's going to be something to watch for. And already you can see 31
Kayak
and 9,
naik
definitely a better time over this Ember.
Yeah, the creeps are dying right now as he's back home regenning.
Yeah,
and he has a TP to the tier 2. He's scared.
That's not where you want to be.
No,
he's jungling here and pulls him up to the high ground for a moment. Will still manage to get a hit off as they're trying to just continue to mess with Ari here. Not Me is still chasing him.
Iya, kejar-kejaran berdua.
With the Brambles out and already finding a couple more hits. Does he go for the courier snipe? He decides to TP away instead. That's not going to work, sir.
Masih dapat ya.
A couple options there.
Doomnya juga jadi makanan.
Brought down again. Team Spirit, their early game.
What?
He was.
Hey, what happened there? He got caught by the cogs from the rapid. Oh, because where he was pulling the creep wave. Because Rue was camping mid for the longest time, waiting for BZM to get back. But then he hits a flare to help with the gank onto the hoodwink, and then he walks up the river to catch cogs on the
Udah sama-sama level 6 ya.
These supports are doing a really good job. BZM will manage to get that illusion rune and needs it playing on this Ember. Collapse. Oh, it's just out of range. Oh, that's annoying.
Oh, did they? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is Iron Wing is doing this every single game. If you guys watch the replays, Whitemon will run up here every single game and block this camp. If he's on Radiant or if he's Dire. And yeah, likewise on the other side, you're seeing a block over there too. This is certainly the meta right now. Every game, especially heading into the 7-minute Wisdom Rune.
Ooh, even dropping down another sentry there. And it feels like they're trying to maybe get set up to contest that Wisdom again. There are many heroes over on the left-hand side of the map. Not Me begins to move over.
Doesn't really look good for Spirit here. I think Not Me's just going to get forced out.
Masih siap sama-sama mengambil
yeah, they're bringing people. Finds Ari. Goes for the cogs, a little bit of a miss. Lines that one up. Pushes him into another Bramble. BZM kills Collapse in the meantime, but Ari will die. And now they're going to give this to Yadro. Bob Ford. Triple raise immediately down. And then some extra gold. Why not? Oh, that is not the way they thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I mean, they saw this coming, right? But I think they had the read, much like I did, it kind of looked like they were going to back it off.
Well, in the meantime, they did manage to take the other Shrine of Wisdom with Pure.
Yeah.
So all is not lost for Iron Wing there. But they did lose their tier 1 tower mid.
Man, so active on these Team Spirit supports so far. I mean, immediately, like, look where Rue is. Like, he is still just in their Ancients right now. Isn't he supposed to be helping the Shadow King have a good lane?
I mean,
why is Yadro a top net worth right now? This Clockwork hasn't been there.
Doesn't need to be.
Is this the Doom issue? The freedom of the Doom lane?
I mean, yeah, and pulling other supports around to other parts of the map. And now moving in mid, look at this wraparound. Yeah, BZM is going to back away, and unfortunately, not able to get anything done there. An Invis rune picked up for Rue. But yeah, hard to make any type of real kill happen onto BZM at this stage. Ari spots Collapse. Whitemon there too. Now Now Rue. Get the root,
Keikat,
push him back.
didorong,
Laguna Blades,
Laguna.
get rooted again. Yes! That is not an easy kill to make happen. Very well done.
I mean, you're trying to abuse your mobility this early in the game, assuming, they can't get me. You know, that's the life of the Ember right now, but got indeed.
Wow. And they drop down a tombstone, not me. Healed up a lot, but still as they chase underneath the tower, it will be enough to take down that Dark Willow. You're looking towards that Radiance while Collapse is going to be upset that his camp has been blocked out.
Weighted dice as well, as you can see, picked up by Yadoro. He's got 1 goal this game.
Yeah.
10 goals.
Well, and Lifestealer is going to be a bit of a weird matchup there. There's definitely some stuff that you can do. You get invested him in like the super late game. Can be very annoying, and we've seen Shadow Fiends at times be
Bakal
somewhat
tukeran
frail
tower sih harusnya.
if they're able to, get jumped upon. I do worry without a hard save on Team Spirit's lineup how that's going to go for them in the mid to late game.
That's true. We've also been having a lot of like pretty hard jumps versus the Linas and the Shadow Fiends, particularly Earth Spirit. This game, it's not too crazy, you know? Like, the Ember gets in, but he doesn't necessarily have the sustained damage to take down one of those 2 larger core heroes. He's a little bit stronger at picking off the supports. So I'll be curious to see how they link that up. Like, maybe we'll see a lot of Infest bombs. Maybe we're going to wait for Ahri to get a hit first on the Bushwhack. Rue has built a fort and a camp in this tree line, and he's coming out once more.
Going to find BZM. Gets the slowdown there. But as we're getting close to the 10-minute mark, it's going to be a battle for the runes. And Laurel gifted and amplified damage.
That's pretty nice. And they've already gotten the mid-tier one. They could maybe use that to pressure one of the side-tier ones, perhaps?
Yeah. I mean, it's worth saying, again, a lot of the early success of Team Spirit in this game has come at the expense of Collapse. Like, Collapse had a really good game last time. He is not feeling good right now. This is a very poor offlaner.
But they do have a Boots of Travel Lina, and he has the gate. So the way back into this game is going to be kills.
Yes.
Or just even joining in on tower pushes can be nice. It also means that you have to be cautious about any aggressive moves you want to make on the side of Iron Wing. Like, Ahri's obviously getting pretty hungry, right? Like, he wants to set up plays for BZM so they get something going, but he's aware that every single time he's thinking about the Lina TP and the gate.
Meantime, 33 continuing to just farm up for himself and work towards that Midas again. Can also opt to go the Blink Dagger route first if he feels so inclined. But yeah, Laurel farming up, taking some camps, Collapse, trying to dodge away from Pure and Whitemon. But they hook shot in and they find him. 33 caught. Yadoro, couple more hits is what he's gonna need. Rue still there with the chase down and has to give it up.
Masih belum bisa ditumbanginnya, masih selamat dia.
Drop down bottom, good damage onto Whitemon. He's hidden, but the Infest to keep him alive. Turns, Decay, still surviving. Hit him Alice down. Tombstone also out. In the end, it's enough.
Tumbang sini dari Undying-nya.
Okay, kind of guarantees they can't instantly chase after Pure, I suppose, but most likely going to get away with that one anyway. Rue once more. Just he's refusing to believe that he's on the Dire this game. We'll find a very late D ward on that Observer here from Not Me, and TP out successfully. Does leave space here for a stack for Ahri, though. He did miss the Ancients, unfortunately.
But yeah, that's going to be something to watch for, because obviously now Rue knows that that stack is built up there. You got a haste run on Laurel, you've got this Underlord for early aggression. If they ever get an inkling that people are heading over to clear out that stack, they can maybe think about a contest.
Yeah, Yadoro really likes playing in there. And he's on big AoE ulti with the Requiem. That could definitely be the hero. You can keep flaring it as well from Rue. One hook shot in, and even if the flare is just hitting you as Iron Wing, you're going to have to decide, like, is this worth going for right now? Like, how much vision do we have on the other heroes in this game at the moment?
Right. Well, and it's not a necessary move for Team Spirit. You don't need to, like, shut down those stacks, but if you could,
I mean, they're pinging it.
Yeah.
So this is the plan.
Ahri, they're bringing numbers. I think, yeah, Iron Wing understands what's going on. The pushback kills Ahri, though. It happens so quickly. And now, BZM TPs to try and make some type of a fight happen. So Rue is going to die. A pretty heavy committal for that.
Yeah, they forced the Ember to rotate over here. Lina was keeping an eye on it, thinking about rotating in for that, though. So if they had, like, let's say they killed the Doom, like, they immediately would have ran in there and started farming up the 2 camps that are there. So I think it's a good decision because it also gains Iron Wing these camps by winning that fight, even if it feels like you're overcommitting with the heroes.
Right. Lina drops the Laguna Blade, not able to do anything more to Pure. They're going to lose the bottom tower on Iron Wing, but do, like you said, get those camps.
Stabilize this game a little bit for them here. It's a pretty big lead starting to build onto the Shadow Fiend. And obviously we're going to get a Radiance finish up pretty soon, and they'll start to speed up. But the full commitment comes out with a Tombstone and everything to lock these down for Iron Wing. And Laryl is closing in on a Kaya. Get himself a little bit more damage here.
And that's going to be a completed Midas also at just about 14 minutes for 33. Rue does come over, not going to try and make a big move for the Shrine though. And so yeah, I mean, again, thinking through how that last game went, we remember Iron Wing being able to pull it back into their favor. The sort of counterpoint is that there's no Invoker in this game, but also there's no Lone Druid. How do you see the differences in this game two working themselves out? Do you feel like Iron Wing are still going to be like very comfortable going into that late game? How comfortable are both of these teams?
I think if you break down the last game, we see that lead for Spirit probably should have grown more from the 10 to 25 minute mark. I feel like it's stalling out at 4 to 5K was a bit of a liability for them. The only reason they basically cheese out the win is the Lone Druid. As right now, Rue in a bit of trouble. I would worry that without that super solid late game potential of the Lone Druid, like they had lost control of that game, let's be clear.
Yeah.
You know, like they had to just beat the buildings down, which of course is a win condition you think of when you draft the bear, but it's not exactly the ideal one.
Right.
And so I think making sure that doesn't happen again for Team Spirit is pretty key here. So my idea would be trying to secure the really important objectives and trying to take away some space from Iron Wing, because I feel like that's something they consistently stopped doing even when they had a decent lead.
Right. Yeah, 2,000 gold lead doesn't mean a ton at this point in the game at all. And in fact, Pure is going to run into several of them as Rue makes the move around. Not me, Ari playing footsie here to the side. They find him, they catch him, and gonna kill the Hoodwink. Collapse gets involved.
Yeah, he needs it. He is going to be a serious threat when he gets that Aghanim Scepter eventually, though. We've seen it time and time again. An Underlord can be behind, but when you're playing this hero like the Ember Spirit, it's just that one route, and it can really cause problems for you.
7 to 6. And slowed down game is definitely what feels pretty good for Iron Wing right now. A shield room for Laurel. Hook shot in. Understanding the decay was there. Didn't quite manage to get him with the push on the cogs. And Laurel gives up on the fight. Decides, I do not want to be up there. Trying to make something happen. 33. Hunting collapse, but Pitamalis down. Gets away for only a moment, though. Now with the sharpshooter and the Doom dropped. A lot of hate head his way. Could not get the deny.
Ooh, look at that, though. A little bit of a double tap, and that's into the Blink Dagger. Midas Blink 16 minutes.
Okay.
Very good here for 3-3.
Pure.
Top of he is feared. Do they have follow-up?
Follow-up is there. The damage, yes! Nice. Oh, just a terrorize coming from where he didn't expect it, and now a tier 1 tower gets taken.
Massive stuff here for Iron Wing, or for Spirit, because you would imagine Iron Wing is just trying to get that armlet finished up on the Lifestealer, and then maybe make a play with BZM. Join up together, infest bomb in on top of one of these squishier ranged cores of the Shadow Fiend or the Lina, but now you go down, that's going to slow down your Lifestealer. You're going to have an Aghanims pretty soon for Laurel. Once he's flying, that gets more and more difficult. Double roots? Again?
Damage out of the hook shot, no!
Where are they coming from, Lyrical?
Get him!
Why are the dire supports coming from the Radiant angle every time?
They're surrounded, and they find the cogs break of the TP for Whitemon. Team Spirit. These supports are just owning.
It's crazy. Like, Rue has spent more time on the Radiant side of the map than the Dire.
Very impressive stuff. Pure, a few more hits and showing that right now, Yatoro is definitely the stronger carry. 4,000 gold up on him. Just a monstrous series. I feel like this is the, Satanic's not the only one that can do this moment.
Oh man, I mean, if you're on the side of Iron Wing right now, you gotta think of a plan with this Lifestealer. Like, you gotta get involved, make something happen together. Try and find a good Doom. All right, he's running on Yatoro.
Dodges, triple hit with the cogs, catches BZM too. Rue did so much right there. He had 4 cogs in a row.
Yeah, Pure's like trying to test things out as well versus the Shadow Fiend and just getting absolutely obliterated.
Yeah.
Has to just turn into the dragon. It went so poorly.
All right, well, those cogs, not as much. And Rue forced a hook shot to get away. Do you have enough to survive? No! BZM, enough with the Spirit Vessel to bring him down there.
No charges, though.
That's a little... God, yeah, I mean, if I was BZM, every time I get rooted now, I'd just be a little bit terrified. Will dodge away from the terrorize, does get hit by the stun, but then gets out of trouble.
All right, very much back. 2 kills here on those dire supports. And this is certainly a very vulnerable part of the game right now for BZM. He really wants to get into that BKB, so he doesn't have to worry about the double, triple roots that are going to be coming out once you have this Aghanim Scepter finished up on the Underlord. Meanwhile, Pure has been doing some farming up top as the Ancient Black Dragon to give himself an extra layer of protection and has now finished up his armlet. So, be prepared for some infest plays. We got 4 points in the Tombstone right now for Whitemon. So if you want to try and fight Ironwing at an objective, it is going to be a little bit tough, but we do have that Lina. We do have a Shadow Fiend. We definitely got some Tombstone hitters.
Does almost have the Aghanim Scepter completed on the Lina now, and the wraparound is coming.
Oh, they're going to run into Team Spirit.
Yeah, they will. They're going to see him right through and finds him immediately. What more could you ask for? The Doom is already out. They're going to drop the ulti coming in from Collapse with the turn and hit. Wait a minute, Yadoru's still strong. He's still so strong. He finds 2 more kills before he dies. Oh, Ari just barely surviving from that, actually, and Laurel comes in for the cleanup.
They just beat them on the numbers game because of this mobility. I mean, that one wasn't even TPs from the Lina. That was just anticipation and good coordination on the map together.
Yeah, congratulations, you found me.
Really did.
Yeah, Shadow Fiends. Yeah, he's doing a lot. That's really scary. If he gets to the point where Doom is not, I mean, it might still kill him, but he's just a glass cannon.
Yeah,
be a problem.
Being doomed isn't his biggest concern, eh?
Well, an Aghanim Scepter is being delivered for Collapse. More avenues to get into the fight and to disrupt it. These little tiny things that come in and start messing with Ember. It's very annoying to play against, especially as we've seen when you have to follow up hookshot or LSA or these other disables that have just really made it tough for BZM to play.
The waves on the side lanes are in a really bad spot right now. Like they're getting them pushed out as Ironwing, but they really need to, I think, get a Tormentor, honestly. I feel like a Shard on the Hoodwink or the Undying would both be absolutely massive right now. But every time they try and push these waves out past the river, this happens.
Look at this. Finds him. Pure tries to get out of the cogs. He manages to just barely get some separation, but 4 staff forward, Yadoru destroys Pure. And not me. Think about chasing this one if they want. Whitemon hits the 3-hero decay. A few more punches are coming in. Fast and Furious takes down the zombie man. They can go back and clean up the tombstone if they want, or they can keep going. They find 33 also.
The Aghanim Scepter from the Underlord. Instant kill provided to their team. Nami was holding the Terrorize that entire time. So if anyone else had decided to join that engagement, they're just going to get feared away.
Trent, they have bigger circles than them right now, and they're showing them.
Big, huge circles, and now they're going into a circular zone known as the Roach Pit. They're going to get that Aegis. And 2, maybe somewhat squishy heroes occasionally of the Shadow Fiend and Alina. Not going to feel very squishy. We're already up to Pike Manta now for the Shadow Fiend. We already have the Flame Cloak for the Lina, giving her a lot of magic resistance against a pretty magic-heavy lineup.
Yeah, Team Spirit. Coming in, looking good. They will find, at this point, Collapse, but don't go all the way in for the commit. They didn't want to end up dying, so they keep the Underlord alive, and Ari manages to get hookshot across the river, walks it back in. Why not?
That's going to be the Kaya Yasha now done for Laurel.
Maybe another.
5-0 and 5.
Maybe another.
Not another one.
They're thinking about it. He gets rooted. He gets feared. The damage out. Look at him. BZM. Ooh, doggy. Okay, they turned that back around. And now maybe have an opportunity to jump onto Laurel. But 33, he gets stunned. He gets killed.
He doesn't even get a Doom off. Like, there's no chance to fight here.
Team Spirit, they showed up in more numbers. And BZM is going to keep back Yadoru from finding a kill onto Pure.
I mean, the only good news is that BZM survives, and he's like 100 gold away from his BKB. So these Yule setups aren't just going to be free from Not Me anymore, but it's just been so devastating for him to try and play these engagements, and then the right after the Roche now. Team Spirit are going to get this Tormentor. It's going to go to Rue. So, I mean, already hitting some fantastic hook shots. It can be very difficult versus the Undying. You know, the fights are very blobby and whatnot. So, getting at extra angles is very good.
Well, I think some of it, too, that's just a little surprising to me is that this Team Spirit lineup has consistently been on the front foot.
Is Rue going to hook shot? I'm like,
oh, no. Yeah, they got him. They got him. Oh, jeez. But, like, you've got Hoodwink, you've got Ember, you've got these heroes that want to jump and find that first target and set things up. And it feels like they've never started a fight almost.
No, both games, truly. Like, they have been put on the back foot in both of these games, and their ability to move on the map has just been very, very minimal. It's such a similar story to last game, where the Dire, like, Team Spirit are just quickly deciding, we are crossing the river. We are fighting for these zones. And they're just not able to do the same. Like, it feels like they're always just trying to push them back, let alone gain any territory as Iron Man.
Well, Team Spirit certainly rising to the pressure of the moment.
I think we're waiting my BKB, guys. Then we can strike back.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
they're waiting.
It's there. I mean, we got there, right? Like, they lost that last fight while he was still waiting for his BKB. Now he has it. Now it is time to strike back, as BZM said. And that, you know, that strike back, I imagine it involves Cure infested inside. It probably means we have to hit some glorious bushwhack here from Ari.
It's important, though, right? Because it speaks to this issue that if Iron Wing were waiting for this key item and then are going to start making these moves, if this doesn't work, it's really scary. But it also should look better than it's looked throughout the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, they're also very close to BKB now on the Doom, just 350 gold away. So 3-3's trying to rush that. He's got a Midas cooldown coming up in a second. I don't know if you really want to give up this tier 2 without any sort of a fight. I mean, it's just 3 heroes pushing. They gave up so many towers like this last game to just a bear. Will they give it up to just a solo Shadow Fiend here? You know, they know. Yeah, he's probably got some backup there, and indeed he does. But they just know they can't fight it. They're, you know, this kind of comes back to this idea of them playing like the machine. They really like to have their specific items. They have a plan. They like to make an idea and stick to it. So they're gonna wait for the BKB. It's flying out on the courier now to 3-3. What can they get done? Can they kill this Lina? Can they blink doom her? Can they bushwhack her? Larl? Oh, the camps aren't there. That might save his life.
Oh. Or does he stick around for this?
I mean, they see him on this ward. They know where he's going. Rue's intercepting now.
I mean, look at this. Yeah.
Running away.
They're waiting for the perfect fight.
What do you think that circle?
Absolute perfect fight.
What do you think that circle on the map from BZM means? A giant squiggle all over the bottom half of the map.
I'm not sure. Play there.
It didn't look like a happy squiggle.
Laurel shows on this wave again. Rue is up front and center, though. The bodyguard keeping him alive. Yadro steps forward, finds Whitemon. A couple quick hits is all that they're going to need, and now they're cooked. So they move in, they take him out, and wait a minute. Pure pops the Enrage, trying to run, but no, the hook shot's there. Rue's got him, stunned for now, rooted. This cannot afford to happen. Yule Scepter lift up. They gotta save. They gotta save. They gotta keep him alive. The stun is there for a moment, but no. Pure is brought down. Team Spirit relentless with their chase. Collapse runs forward. They can't hit the brambles. They don't need to hit the brambles. They take down the Undying.
Whitemon was trying to get close enough for an infest save because he doesn't have the Tombstone Shard yet. But he can't quite get there. That ends up costing him his life as well. Little save your buddy syndrome in action here on the TI stage.
What are they waiting for now?
We gotta find a new item to wait for, huh?
Apparently. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. A 12K gold lead right now. Team Spirit. This squad that has come in and looked incredible on the main stage is doing it again.
Last game was a very, like, you know, with the Tusk place.
Oh, lift up. 33, TP's out. They'll just throw a few items out there, but that's the BKB used.
In the first game, they had this Tusk, and they were instantly making plays, right? Like like we saw with Yadro and the Lone Druid. He doesn't have to wait for anything. In this game, it was a little slower to start, but the second that Rue got into the hookshot, it's been ridiculous. Like, he is just the ideal clockwork that you want on your team. And the same thing with Not Me and the way that he's playing aggressively, too.
We've known that, you know, obviously Collapse, Arturo, unbelievably powerful talents, but to see it also out of the supports is really impressive. Okay, Iron Wing, they got to get back into this one now. They're just, if they would have gone up right then, they would have run into the Lina. Unfortunately, they won't see her there. Now, Toro is showing on wave. It's not quite coming together there for Iron Wing. Spirit a step ahead of him. When it doesn't connect, feels quite bad sitting on these BKBs.
Yeah, in this game, this gold lead that we talked about has not just been, you know, flat.
Yes.
It has been up and up and up, just constantly growing here for Team Spirit because of the way they're playing aggressively with these supports, because they have the global teleportation of the Underlord and the Lina. They're just always opening up these opportunities. And I think we should also mention the fact that Yadro has played very aggressive this game.
Yes.
Like, he is constantly on the other side. He's not just doing backwards farming into their camps, because what's better than farming your own camps? Farming the enemy camps.
All right, that's exactly right. I mean, they saw all of these heroes walk through here underneath a ward placed down by Rue. A Hex is now done for Lina.
Oh man, if they catch Rue with that, I mean, or even just BZM, obviously, like, it means that once he sees that Hex, he can't allow himself to ever just get hit by a single, like, root or any sort of a cursed crown after. Like, he can't play that little greediness with his BKB. He's just gonna have to let it rip.
Yeah, 100%. Roche, now 25 seconds. But you can see the danger that's coming there. I mean, again, you look at this, Lauro actually doesn't even have the BKB. He's gone all out aggro. So there is an opening there, but we just haven't seen Iron Wing be able to find him in these fights at all.
No, he is big chilling right now, 6-0-7. No concerns for his KDA in this one.
So it's going to be 1 minute and 35 seconds is now the Roche timer.
I mean, blink daggers for what? You know, blink on Ari, blink on 3-3, not able to play aggressively with them at all. They are now, you know, across the river. They're sitting up here together. They got Pure on the wave. If there was ever a chance, it's now. Yadro walking in, invisible. Do they have any way to spot this?
Jumps inside, Ari out. Now they see him. The pit is down. Trying to chase some of these heroes. Do they understand that 33 has the lifesteal inside him? Follow-up pit is out. Hookshot off the mark. Meanwhile, though, he's able to get the two back on him. The Lotus Orb reaction. Yadro thinking about a chase. They cannot catch onto 33, but do manage to kill the Hoodwink.
Meanwhile, they just have BZM down bottom. Like, there was no chance they actually wanted to engage there. Maybe they're just happy to get a move from Team Spirit.
Right.
They've got this gem on BZM. And, you know, maybe hoping that Yadro will go a bit too far because, you know, as you pointed out, there's no BKB on the Lina, there's no BKB on the Shadow Fiend. Roshan is back up in 30 seconds. This does have all the makings for a possible fight win here from Iron Wing, but it's going to have to be a fight where there's some sort of an infest save, right? Like, you need to min-max every single thing in this engagement if you want to get this win. The Tombstone save would be incredible if they could get it ready, but it's still like a couple hundred gold away here for Whitemon. He's only at 800, so...
BZM. Break the smoke and blink away.
Oh, the Tombstone gets dropped.
Pure onto Rue. Does he have any way out of there? Force staff down to the low ground. Is there anybody that can chase him? EZM is there. So they get the kill onto the clock.
They got a proc on Not Me, so they know he's around.
Yeah, Laurel shows up. Not Me in very deep right here. That was a interesting choice. So they managed to get 2 support kills as Roche respawns. Maybe an opportunity as the MKB comes out for the Shadow Fiend.
Can they actually seize this right now, though? Like, do they feel it's that desperate? The problem is it is a top Roche right now.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was bottom right now, maybe they would just insta-go. The best thing they could hope for is a bit of pressure on this tier 2 bottom, but classic Ember lineup and hitting a tower, it's a bad time.
I mean,
he needs friends to do it.
As much as this is like, you know, 13K gold lead, Team Spirit looking good, I don't think that Iron Wing are out of this by any stretch of the imagination, and considering how patient they were last game, I wonder if they just feel confident going to the late game no matter what.
Part of those stuff like this, like Rue just TPs back to this outpost.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And there's the Cogs and the Hex and the find and the kill. Yeah, that can't feel good. BZM caught, and now they got the Squirrel too. So Ari goes down.
They kill 2 supports bottom. They can't pressure the bottom tower. They can't reclaim their own outpost. They got nothing out of that double kill. They instantly lose a core and a support, and they're going to lose the Roche now.
Yeah.
Like, they are just getting outmaneuvered like crazy by Team Spirit at the moment. They have an exact read on this. They have constantly been playing on their side of the map. They are constantly getting down good vision and just refusing to get, like, look what Na'Vi's doing. He's blinking in here. He's defending. He's warding. He is just delaying and ensuring that you have nothing. And guess what? You can't kill this guy. He's just going to set up for a kill because we got global mobility.
The pit, they move through it, collapse. He finds that kill onto Whitemon with Laurel in tow. 7 key gold lead. They are owning.
And the coordination here with the Underlord is just grotesque. Very well done. And when you get rolling with a hero like this, it feels so good to play ahead.
So they're going to step up. They're going to take high ground. First tier 3 tower. Yaro claims it. And with nary a fight, Team Spirit looking to close this one out. What's the answer, Ironwing?
The answer is never buy a BKB.
Apparently.
Look how well Yadro and Laurel are doing, guys.
They don't need them. You don't need them.
You don't need them. Okay, what if you're just better? Have you ever thought about that? Oh, see, Laurel. He bought the BKB lyrical. Maybe this is the turning point.
The turning point, yeah. The BKB.
Buying the BKB will be the turning point here. I mean, it hasn't helped Ironwing.
You're not wrong. My goodness. What a performance from Spirit. I mean, whatever else you can say, Ironwing has not responded the way they needed to in this game number 2, and Team Spirit have put the pedal to the metal. 35 minutes, are they going to go for more?
I mean, they're ready for any sort of a play here. They're holding this high ground. They're watching for smoke angles. They're keeping an eye on who's pushing out what. And Yadro continuing to play very aggressively here with his Silver Edge, obviously having some confidence with this Aegis.
Who's he going to run into?
He gets spotted here.
They see the Shadow Fiend. He is standing on a remnant underneath a ward. No cares.
0.
Maybe.
Double catapult wave coming in.
I mean, again, it's 3 minutes on Aegis. Like, do you really want to try and do a big jump and fest play onto this Shadow Fiend right now? There's no way it ends well for them. I feel like they need 2 Dooms.
That might help.
They need a lot.
All right, well, they're going in. There's the vision from the Shiva's Guard.
Finds some, pulls it back. Bushwhack, sharpshooter, connection, not be dead. Okay, that's something. Can they turn it into more? The Crozier, he's Croziering. BZM in some trouble, tries to rip it away, but the right clicks follow him. Didn't stand a chance.
And Pure, he just has to sit there and watch.
There's not much else to do as they have built up a gold lead. They are taking these lanes. A second set right now. Team Spirit indomitable in this game number 2.
Pure is just trying to find anything. He's just running in here right now, thinking, I have to start something. This is their desperation play. He just goes in.
The Light Killer walking in never feels good.
No, that's not the play.
You do not want to see that. The Hex is out now. LSA connects just on the edge.
Ooh, what a Manta.
To do what they can. Okay, big 33 jump in. Lincoln's popped. How much more do they have? They do not have much, Trent. It is not looking good for Ironwing. Things look bad, as a matter of fact. Doom waiting for his Blink Dagger to come back off cooldown. But in the meantime, Pure gets brought down low. Not dead yet. Laguna Blade out. Needs to infest to survive.
Okay.
Gets into Ari. So they take down the Clockwork. Now, I do have some bad news about their top lane.
No, that part's not great.
Their top lane is entirely dead.
It's a little bit tough.
Oh.
It was a noble effort from Pure to just get in there and try and make something happen. And he did barely escape after being hookshot there by Rue.
Yeah, this is despair mode right now for Ironwing fans.
It's time for more of the Conjurer's Catalyst.
Oh, yeah.
Now for the Lina here.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, Basher on the lifesteal is actually pretty big.
Throw it into the hands of RNG. Please save us is the call. Because they need a lot. They need kills. I mean, again, you win a couple of fights in sort of a triumphant fashion for Ironwing, and that pulls this all back into their favor. Things could start to look very differently, but winning those fights, how do you do that at this stage of the game?
I mean, BZM last game had it a lot easier on the Invoker. He's a hero that scales a little better and gets this immense amount of burst damage right around this time of the game. Ember, unfortunately, is a little bit more item dependent as well. His Aghanim's also a great tool for that, particularly, it's very good at just giving vision over the entire fight, especially when you have the Shivas. But as a poor Ember, he's just going to have the Ags to work with, if he can even get there, to be honest.
Right.
But that's their best hope, is that he's able to get in the backline and maybe mess around with Rue and Not Me, because they have truly been the backbone of these fights.
Collapse, pressuring out this building. Has the Crozier. Try and mess with the regen and everything else coming out. As well as just keep himself alive against the Lifestealer jumping onto him.
Yeah, great game for the Crozier for sure, especially because of that Lifestealer. Very hard counter to the Underlord, so any ethereal abilities are always very handy, and this addition was a great one in this matchup.
Okay, this was the turning point last time. 33 finishes the Aghanim Scepter. We've got Abyssal Blade done on the Lifestealer.
He also has that Shiva's Guard on the Doom for the big AoE bonus on his Doom, which is nice.
You know what else?
We don't have to roll the die with the Abyssal. What's that?
There was also the game, they were down 2 racks when things started to turn. Look at all the pieces are coming together, okay? Iron Wing, they're looking for a comeback.
So do you have Iron Wing winning too in this prediction? You that desperate?
I did put Iron Wing winning in my predictions. You are not wrong. That doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying.
Right, okay. No, I was just making sure.
Not me. Smoke breaks. Back away, don't hit anybody. And retreat, no Essence Distiller connection. No, I mean, it's true. This is a really good performance from Team Spirit so far. And I think doing it in this way, like we've talked about in Game 1, it's important, I think, for this roster. Just come in and dominate. Not needing to constantly come back from the 20 minutes. BZM finds one. Tries to jump in, not able to find anybody. Hook shot connects onto 2. Rue decides to go through, then 4 staff back away. Jetpack out of there. Rooted.
Something here.
BZM, BKB is down. Needs to be careful. Ari, they got their sights onto Pure. Can they chase down this Lifestealer? They want to. Pops the Rage, now turns, hits onto Collapse. The right click's going in onto this guy, but he's living through it. Now Rooted on the backside. Root finds another one. It's 3 with the cogs. On the land, the hit, the kill. They jump in with 33. Is it going to be enough damage, though? No! He dies so rapidly. Look at the hits coming in from Yadaro. 4 dead for 2. They're still doing it.
Man, what a cogs there. Rue just playing out of his mind this game, separating Pure from the rest of his team so they can't keep going with those saves. They can't try and bail him out of that fight, despite all the healing he was getting there. As you can see, it is not enough. And they're going to march down. SF in the mid, Lina on the bottom lane, only a single lane remaining. BZM forced to buy back, but he just can sit and watch the double catapults go to work.
Trying to close this game out right now. It's going to be Mega Creeps at 40 minutes. Team Spirit on a spree. There's 30 seconds until Doom is back up. I don't know if Iron Wing can hold in that amount of time.
There's a Fiend's Gate in 5 seconds and a buyback on Collapse. He might get cheesy here.
They're thinking about it. The hits, they move in. Whitemon dead, does have buyback, but he's going to get the Ceaseless Dirge first. Now the hits onto the tier 4 towers. Buildings start to fall. How comfortable are Team Spirit walking in without Aegis? With Doom respawning, they're going to take the safe route and go bomb back home. Okay.
Collapse buys an Abyssal. Alright, so I'll gate, Root, come through the gate and Abyssal.
Underlord tayo nyampe bikin gitu ya.
I love that.
Bikin besar, so.
Well, Roche, it's going to be a relatively long respawn, 2 minutes. If they get that, I can't see how it happens. A Parasma done on Laurel. Iron Wing are going to have to dig deep for some type of a salvation here.
Yeah, BZM, he's got a Ghost Scepter, he's got a Kai and Sanj. He was forced to buy back.
Siap dulu nggak sih buat Lina?
Pipe Dream at this point. It's such a big power up for the Ember, especially if you want to play that style where you're trying to interrupt the backline. It's so hard without the Eggs. You just don't have enough mobility. You're not as fluid with your movements.
Yeah.
And now Rue, he's already been throwing his body into the fires of these battles, but now has the Aeon Disc. So didn't go for the Blink Dagger build. Still much more of a classic Clockwork in this one.
You can see Team Spirit hold in this high ground and just letting the waves spam in. An illusion is out. Pure realizes it now and still can't really fight it that effectively.
That's probably not a good sign either, huh?
Now there's smoke behind him.
All right, 3-3, he's thinking about popping the Doom. He's pump faking it, he's ready.
backs out. Nullifier completed. So
okay, so Claps might just die if he messes up something.
Roxanne lagi.
Yeah,
Nungguin
that's
Roxanne
true.
dulu mereka.
I mean, look, Nullifier, Abyssal Blades, Ironwing have the tools to kill a hero if they can get on top of him. There's lots of ways to take down this Lina if you get that first jump. If you can
Sisa
find that
satu
right
tower
target,
konten ya.
33 jumps up and he's immediately rooted. Oh, that's not the way they wanted it. And no detection means Yadro's tucking away. He tries to escape, but the LSA connects onto several. The turns, the hits. He punches him down dead. 33 is gone. Ironwing, they don't have a prayer. They're trying to chase forward for more. Whitemon gets up onto the cliff. He tries to TP away. Not gonna happen. Collapse. Drop in the voice line.
GG sih.
As they turn, they hit BZM. Nowhere left to go. GG is called. Team Spirit take the 2-0 on the main stage.
Dominant performance for our first series here on the main stage by Team Spirit, and not in their typical fashion necessarily. The power of the crowd is real. Let me tell you, Yadro pops up that camera, they cheer. Every single time. And every time he's gonna kill, they're also cheering. They love him, and I think he loves them too.
Absolutely. Feeling good in that booth. On the other side, Ironwing, not the way they wanted this to go. Oh, Ari, another one of those players that was looking to prove it here up on the main stage, but it's Team Spirit that managed to get the victory. And it did not look particularly close.
I feel like Team Spirit were struggling a little bit coming in, like, end of the group stage, right? Like, you're like, okay, couldn't quite get it together. Then they're playing against Resilience, and it was close. You know, there were some issues. Whereas Ironwing were really finding it at the end. I feel like they kind of figured out their drafts, and it seemed like they had the heroes they wanted, and they got those heroes here, you know? They got their Hoodwink in their game. They got their Undying, but it wasn't able to carry them to the victory. So Team Spirit coming with a very good plan as to how Ironwing wanted to play and adapting really nicely in the draft. I feel like they did an excellent job just predicting what they were going to do and countering it.
A really, really solid performance indeed as Team Spirit were able to get that victory there. And again, thinking forward to what this means, I mean, Ironwing dropping down, it's going to be a scary lineup to go against in that lower bracket, whoever they end up facing. But again, the victory today is Team Spirit that were able to take it. It went long and late in that first game number 1. This one, much less so.
Yeah, a little less back and forth here, unfortunately, for the side of Ironwing. So they're going to have to take a look at this, figure out, you know, we got our heroes, so what wasn't good? Well, let's see what they did for Spirit.
观众朋友们，欢迎来到赛后采访。那现在在我身边的是刚才获胜 Team Spirit 的 Yatoro， 以及我们可爱的主持 Snacks。
Hello, Jonathan. How are you guys doing? And thank you so much. All right, let's get started, Yatoro. I gotta say, I know how much you love the crowd. I know how excited you are to be here. You told us earlier this year you were bummed you didn't get to go main stage. Here you are again. Must be feeling pretty good.
好的，亚特尔也是首先恭喜你们拿下这场比赛的胜利。那么在今年的早些时候呢，你也是跟我说过，你很期待队伍回到最好的一个状态。你觉得现在感觉怎么样？
Yes, I love crowd, love this arena. I'm glad we won.
我喜欢现场所有的观众，我也喜欢这座场馆。谢谢大家对我们的支持。
Ton of Team Spirit fans out here cheering your name. Are you surprised by how many there are?
现场有很多观众朋友们都在欢呼你的名字，你有感到意外吗？
Yes, I am.
Oh,
是的。
Good to hear. All right, Game 2. I don't really want to talk about it. Not much to talk about. Game 1, the Bear, very impressive. I have to ask, what was more enjoyable for you to kick Ironwing's ass with? Was it the Shadow Fiend or the Lone Druid?
我不想聊太多第二场的比赛，因为内容的话太过残暴了。想问问，相比于第一场的熊德和第二场的影魔，你觉得今天用哪个英雄去打爆对手感觉更爽？
First game for sure. Yeah.
I'm surprised that they did not ban this bear. Why is that? Why'd they let you get away with it?
其实第一场肯定是更爽的。然后 Slacks 追问的话，我很疑惑为什么对方没有办掉第二场的熊德，也没有人选，是为什么？
I think they just forgot about the Landroid when they pick Doom and thought it's not a problem, but it was pocket pick, so we're happy we got it.
我想他们可能第二场比赛的话忘记了有熊德这个英雄存在，然后他们选择了 Doom。其实对我们来说的话，这也不是一个问题，但最后的话我们还是有自己的考量。
Thank you. Now, a lot of people are saying this is the most competitive TI ever. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like any one of these teams could take it?
有人说这次 TI 我们的8强是历史以来竞争最强烈的一届，你是怎么想的？你觉得你们战队有没有机会拿下这次的比赛？
Yeah, I think a lot of good teams and tournament who can win. So we're gonna try to be one of these.
我觉得这是一次不错的比赛，有很多的强队，我也希望我们能够成为夺冠热门。好的，那也是感谢 Slack 以及鸭队友接受我们的采访，我们把剩下的时间交给我们的分析台。
What a series that was. Team Spirit, they do this one very easy compared to game one. This game two was a bit, I mean, compared to game one, a little bit like Luster Saber.
Yeah, I think the way supports played on Team Spirit was just incredible. This game, you could see Not Me being everywhere. He was like picking them off, surviving everywhere. The way they moved in the early game, I feel like when you play against Iron Wing, they kind of force you to play this game, and they're usually the ones making the moves first. However, Spirit in this entire series, they were able to like turn it on them, and they were the ones making the first move, forcing the tempo of the game. Such as this moment, it was just incredible.
Yeah, this is one of the many moments here, Winter.
Yeah, they were just kind of really uncomfortable with this setup. Yeah, like whenever I watch Iron Wing, whenever I see BZM is playing like a spirit hero, a hero that needs to move, they just don't really feel like they're comfortable playing the game. Like here, I don't know like what happened. Like Ember didn't really have a way to get to this fight, and I feel like this is the type of fight that you need to be able to connect to as an Ember spirit in the early game.
Yeah, the game was all too quickly in the hands of Team Spirit. And this is without the funky shenanigans they of course did in game number one, where they were able to get a great start on the board already before the horn sounded. But it felt way more grounded, if that makes sense, Rhea. This is a lead that you could see Iron Wing try. There was no way of them getting out of this.
Yeah, I do think it was hard, and whilst they were greedy with things like Midas on the Doom, they didn't opt for a second Midas on the Lifestealer, and he got a Radiance in good time. They attempted to make plays with the Infest, but I think that Team Spirit, especially given they were playing these two long-range cores, they just were better at positioning on the map. Like if you were watching the mini-map throughout this entire game, you would kind of see the like swings and roundabouts of Team Spirit moving in this formation where the supports are always out in front, and then there's like a Shadow Fiend kind of a bit behind. Lena's then a little bit further back with her Boost of Travel ready, and then Underlord is all the way on the other side of the map, ready to go with his ult at any time. And it felt like they were always moving in this way where Iron Wing could just never get any kind of fight that they wanted.
Yeah, and we have previous game, of course, it was Laurel, it was Yutoro without a single death to his name. This time it is Laurel on his Lina. It was a hero that for Team Spirit was picked in that first phase. It was their first pick. And that did mean that it was Iron Wing and with that BZM that could pick a hero against it. They went for Ember Spirit. We talked about this, Saber, about that it should be not that bad for Ember. Why did it turn out this way?
Yeah, so what I enjoy more than feeding in my pubs is being wrong on the panel.
Oh.
It is actually good for Lina. I was talking to Quinn backstage. He said, yeah, it is mainly like 60-40 for Lina. Embers can survive this. However, you're just range hero. You have enough to like harass him down, and we could see it. He was absolutely zoning him and destroying him mid. Laro for sure the MVP this game. Absolutely perfect gameplay. 10-0. What more do you want?
I mean, what I would want is I would want to know, Winter, why they felt comfortable picking Ember into that to begin with. Because was it just a hero that would be then better for the game after the laning stage? Because after the draft was done, we said there was so much focus on that laning stage already.
I think it's the pick sequence. They felt like they couldn't really pick the other heroes, the other cores, and they needed more time to reveal the other cores. So they had to pick a mid hero, and they see Lina. So the immediate thought process is we just pick a mid hero that could just play the lane. And maybe you could also buy Mage Slayer later. I don't know if that was part of the plan. And they have some kind of hero to lane against the Lina.
Yeah. I wanted to point out here how incredible it is they killed the Ember here. Because as you can see, they have like 2 stuns. And now he gets stunned by an Ogre, if I'm not mistaken. So even the Dota itself is working for Spirit. As you can see, he's like, not the Ogre, no!
Yeah.
It was like it's incredibly impressive that they were able to get these Ember kills. Another one here, beautiful root into stun into another root, and then
Dropkicknya
a
bagus
hook
banget sih
shot
emang.
from Timbatu, and they managed to get him. It's really good if you manage to get these Ember kills, because it kind of snowballs you forward. If you're not able to get the Ember, he's able to just play the map, push all of your waves. It's big problem.
Yeah, that's why when they picked the Wheeler, I mentioned Wheeler was one of the best heroes against Ember. So he always creates opportunities for you because you have enough lockdown with the hero. And after those 2 kills, like the 15-minute kill on Lifestealer and that kill on the Ember, I felt like they just kind of almost lost the game there after the 2 core kills.
Yeah.
They couldn't control the map. They just had nowhere to farm.
Yeah, they got the Ember Spirit on control, and you want to highlight how they got the Lifestealer under control as well.
Yeah, I think he just got killed by the SF at top. Like he didn't really expect the damage, and he just went there trying to defend the tower. And as soon as he died there, they lost the top tower, and the map just became really small. Because after they lost the top tower, they lost the mid tower, and you have no access into your Ancients area after that point.
Yeah, and that was definitely a tough position for Iron Wing to be in. And then later on, Rhea, towards the end of the game, obviously there were maybe chances that Iron Wing was trying to get a foot in the door, but there were 2 people stopping that.
The 2 supports. Look, I don't know why we're saying Law's the MVP. I think it's pretty freaking obvious it was the supports this game. We've talked about them more than anyone else on this post-game panel, and they were delivering in every single way. Like I talked about earlier, this formation, there's always a support out front. Like it doesn't matter if Iron Wings just want to move forward on the map or they want to smoke out on the map. It's always this Clock and this Willow that are catching these moves. They did it bot earlier as well, and you see here how they triangle on this Dark Willow. She's unfreaking killable. She gets out because she has a net worth advantage from their team playing so damn well. You have this like 4-star Yules and her own spells that make her so elusive, and that gives their team all the time in the world to set up and come and respond to these moves. And this is just the tip of the iceberg end of the game where it's so dominating in their favor. But this was happening all game long. Like the way that they warded, the way they put their supports out, it just meant that they had constant coverage and ways to protect their cores, which is how this Shadow Fiend Lina duo core were able to thrive in such a beautiful way.
I mean, to add to that, I think the reason why the supports were able to do that is because whenever you have Underlord just shoves all the way, so it's easy for your supports to just move together and play the map. Whereas you compare it to Doom, Doom can't really do that. You kind of have to show your hero until you have the shard and you eat the dragon. So I think the early game was better for the supports on the Spirit side because they had Underlord, even though he lost his lane.
And then the game spirals out of control, and before you know it, it's a 2-0 in favor of Team Spirit, who now move forward in the upper bracket, top 6 confirmed, whereas Iron Wing will drop to the lower bracket. Both teams, of course, still unsure of who they will face next, but that's okay, because we're gonna figure that out as the day progresses, because we are ready to go to our next series, our next best of 3 here for the main stage of the International. It will be Team Vision versus Boom Boys. And to get started with that one, we are going to hear from Yarrow and Save.
Our journey in the group stage was starting from a little bit problems, and we got some mistakes that we need to work on. So we keep improving on it. But eventually we knew that in the elimination match in Decider, Aurora picked us. We knew it's gonna be a different game, So we won, and we were super happy. When we played against Team Vision on the group stage, we gave them too much respect because we lost to them